Lisa Novak,
Good
Friday
morning.
morning frenzy. What happened this week in your world?
It's been a really normal week in real estate.
What's normal like?
Normal is normal numbers for this time round in property. So seeing some, average to strong group numbers coming through property. A really good listing week, a really good sale week. It just feels all quite normal out there, actually.
My buzzword for 2022, like you know how we used to say in 2020, pivot, to pivot, to pivot, pivot, pivot.
Yes,
My buzzword is essential. It's
essential.
essential. So the stuff that where I'm particularly seeing in property, um, with people buying, with people selling, with people renting, with people lending. Um, it's all about what's essential in people's world. And that's not scary and that's not hard to work out. And I sort of don't mind that because I think there's been a lot of non-essential in the last 12 to 24 months where people have, perhaps bought stuff they didn't need, or, the government was tossing around, 50 or $100 billion to keep the economy pumping. And so I think people abused it a little bit. So I think coming back to that essential, even with building, they're going to be building only if they need to build.
It's shifted, Mark, because that was the case a few months ago with travel, but it's not the case now. I feel like every second person I speak to is either going to Greece or Croatia or Hawaii. Everyone's going away, and so the shift has taken place. I don't know that it's just essential people that are purchasing property, though. There seems to be a whole realm of buyers that have got their pre-approvals that they want to spend. It's like they've got money and they've got to get out there and spend it. And I think that's a smart idea because the buyers that I'm hearing that aren't using up their pre-approvals and are playing the waiting game, are then going around to get their pre-approvals again, only to find that they're actually shading a lot of what they're able to borrow.
It's true, but I think it's when I'm saying essential lease and you talk about travel, I reckon like just watch. Just watch what December looks like and see if there's as much travel as there's going to be now.
Oh, do you reckon?
Yeah. It's,
Wow.
I think that, America's put the highest rate increase for interest rates up over 30 years, where they've moved up
Yeah.
0.75 on their rates. We do like to follow what the Americans do for some weird reason. But, I'm not worried or scared about essential because, it's the healthy stuff. And that's how we've been living for the last, 20, 50, 30, whatever
Yeah.
years. When it was irregular the way people were moving around in the last year or two.
Yeah.
So, I think a lot of
I wonder
people
how caravan sales are going.
yeah, they're still 2 years out for 1 or 2 years
Are
out
they?
for a lot of good caravans.
Yeah, but I think that's still the backlog from, the months that preceded. I don't know
Car
that. I don't
sales,
know. I'd be interested to know if anyone out there is in car sales or caravan sales. I'm keen to hear if they're still going gangbusters.
yeah, I think they are on the back of stock level lows. I spoke to a car dealer last night, and I think on the back of stock level lows that it's still doing well. But I think that
Oh, we lost Mark there. He's frozen up. You're unfrozen, Mark. You got all Botoxed for a moment. You got all Botoxed up. But I'll tell you something interesting that happened to me the other day was we were getting a valuation done on a property for a client.
yeah,
A property that's under contract, and a valuer that came through, I said, look, would you like us to assist you with any comparable sales around the area? Because the valuers that we get through, or that the banks order rather, aren't always locals. So, sometimes we'll just go and help them with properties that might have sold similar in the area. And he said, oh, no, valuations at the moment. This is what he said. Okay. I'm just repeating. He said valuations are actually really easy at the moment because the market's come off. And so the data that we're working with is much higher in terms of comparables. So say, for instance, it's a house in DY. They're looking back sort of circa six
Think of
plus
that.
weeks ago. Yeah. And these valuations have come in a lot higher, so it's a lot easier. And he also said there's not huge backlogs compared to what they were seeing a couple of months ago either. So that's interesting.
That's interesting.
It is.
Yeah. Well, they actually, yeah, I am reading that home loans are a little bit they're not on the rise for people. They're sort of on the low. I do think it's interesting for end of financial year. Now, bit of people that are doing stuff for end of financial year. Heads up, if you are intending on buying a property and you are not PAYG, or even if you are PAYG, what I would be doing is talking to a broker in the next week or two, just in case you need to make any modifications to your financial status for lending.
Right.
Why I say that is how you look in the next 2 weeks is what's going to stick with you for the next 12 months when you go to buy a property, when you go to get a loan. So I had a friend of mine who's building a house at the moment. He said, I don't need the money for 6 months. And I said, buddy, friend, chum, talk to your bank in the next week or two. Make sure you're
Yeah.
looking good on paper before the financial year closes, because you're frozen in time when that financial year finishes. So make sure it's all good. So heads up to people that are out there, if you are going to be doing any lending, talk to your broker for whatever reason. Talk to your broker in the next week or two and make sure your financials are looking good, how they should, on paper before you get frozen in time and the financial year finishes.
Yeah, interesting. Hey, Mark, I just want to talk briefly about our $0 marketing strategy as well,
Oh, it's a
because,
killer at the moment.
yeah, it's been
Killer.
extremely popular. So I think
Yep.
yesterday was the fourth property I had signed within the last week. What I call a post-market cleanup. So properties that had listed with other agents, they didn't get sold, and then they've called me going, help. For whatever reason. Look, vendors choose agents for many reasons. It's not necessarily the agent that's selling the most amount of stock in the area. Sometimes what's driving a vendor is the agent that's offering the cheapest commission, or promises that they've got the buyer for the property that's going to take it off the market immediately. There's a whole realm of reasons.
Yep.
But for this week, Mark, as I said, the post-market cleanups, $0 marketing strategy, guys, it's something that we specialize in. It's trialed and tested. It's whereby we don't charge any money whatsoever for marketing.
It's pretty
All right,
sexy.
it's our what we consider our plan A. So we go out to database, which is extensive. It's
Can you hear that?
no,
The buzz, the buzzy buzz. No.
can't hear the buzz.
Can you put in your headphones?
Oh, have I got buzz? I don't have AirPods on me. Sorry.
Ah. Yep. Keep going.
Just guys, anyone out there who's listening, if you can let us know if there's any feedback taking place, I'd appreciate it. But so back to the $0 marketing strategy, database, social media, and I'll tell you what, the social media channels have gone absolutely off the charts. They really have. Forget about looking at all the followers and stuff like that, which is significant. It's about the reach that we get, guys. It's honestly over the last 3.5 years, Mark. Wouldn't you agree? Like it's nuts, and it's getting into the hands of the right people. We're not getting into the hands of Muhammad in Afghanistan. These are good local people that are looking to buy or sell.
Yeah, it's true. It's
Um,
true.
in addition, I just want to add, we also include your professional photos and a signboard. So it's a wonderful way for you to dip your toes in, test the market, and not have to spend thousands and thousands of dollars in marketing. Not that we're here to save marketing money, we're not. If we feel that you're going to get a better price by getting you onto those real estate portals, of course, that's our advice. But in addition, 4 cleanups this week on property, and these guys are done with spending money on marketing. They're done. Some of them have spent 10 plus $100,000 on their marketing already. They don't want to do it all over again.
Yeah, right. And look, I was with a client, and I think also
Mark's not even listening.
say that again.
I said you're not even listening. You look like you're
I
multitasking.
actually can't hear you, but you're
Oh,
right.
you can't. Ah, it must be coming from your side.
Yeah,
I'm sorry to hear that, Mark. I can
yeah,
pretty much say whatever I want now. This is perfect opportunity to just talk about whatever I want.
yeah. You do talk most of the time anyway, so I sort of don't mind.
I have a word count of 10,000 I've got to get out, Mark, before 8 o'clock.
Oh no, your word count is much higher than that.
So rude.
Also,
That's so rude. Seriously.
no, just a fact. That's all.
Guys, stick up for me. Rude.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, that's really good now. That's really good. So I was with a client last night on the back of what you're saying.
Yeah.
And a lot of people can't understand when they're selling why they have to pay money up front when they're paying an agent a massive commission. It's like, why do I have to bankroll you when you're going to make a 20,000 commission out of me? So why do I have to give you $5,000 up front? And it sort of comes down to probability, and it sort of comes down to
But
the
the
law of
charges aren't
probability.
ours. The charges aren't ours. They're third-party charges. So the photographer doesn't want to wait till settlement.
Yeah. And people are saying, like, why should I take, or people have always said, why should I take on the risk? You should take on some risk as well. I'm giving you my property. So, that I think it's pretty interesting at the moment, because right now, we haven't seen the data come through yet, but when we do see the data come through, what we're actually going to see is going to be the rate of withdrawal is going to be much higher than we ever thought. So people are putting properties on the market, they're not getting their price, and then they're taking it off the market. That's going to be sitting at a record high. And I've gone through this with head office with realestate.com, and they've got the data to prove that there's a lot of properties hitting the market. There's a lot of properties getting withdrawn, and there's a lot of broken hearts at the moment, sore heads with people that are selling their property. In most parts, but not in some parts. Like parts of Queensland are still doing well, parts of the North Coast are still doing well,
correct.
But certainly Sydney Metro in the majority is actually is pulling back.
But guys, and look, Mark, I just want to go back to that $0 marketing strategy, because when I do have those conversations with vendors, when they're like, well, I don't know, why am I paying? I don't even know if the property's going to sell. I mean, A, these are third-party charges, but B, they do have that option to go with our $0 marketing strategy. Look, it's tried and tested. I've been using it for 4 years. It's a strategy that I came up with. I was scratching my head when I came into sales 4 years ago, just going, what do you mean there's no other option for sellers? What, they either pay for marketing or they got no other option? I couldn't believe it. And that's how obviously all the social media and the $0 marketing strategy was born. It has certainly revolutionized an industry.
Hey, Les, one other question, which I'm getting a lot of that I want everyone to know about, is buy now, buy later, because we are getting a record number, a shitload of buyers at the moment, saying, you know what, yeah, got the money, yeah, ready to go, yeah, like the property, yeah, good value, but I'll wait. Well, what are you going to wait for? Well, we're not sure if the price is going to go down anymore, so we're going to hang it a little bit longer. That's really, really happening a lot. And before we go over to that, I just want to say g'day to Anmal. Haven't seen you guys in ages.
Hey, Anmal. Hope you guys are well.
It's been a long time. We're going to catch up. We're going to that Indian restaurant we spoke about.
Yes.
Michael, how much is realestate.com.au for a listing these days?
So really good question, actually. So it's coming in at about 2,400. It does vary from area to area, but Northern Beaches, to give you a ballpark, it's about 2,400, which is not astronomical. But guys, when you add up the 2,400 for realestate.com, the circa $2,000 for Domain, these are Northern Beaches prices, the $450 for the signboard, the $1,000 for photography and floor plan. Then you add to that drone shots, sunset shots, you know, and the list keeps on going and going. You know, a lot of people still do the big Hollywood style production video. You are starting to push up to sort of $8-9 grand. It's a significant price if you're going, I want to, you know, I want the best price for my property, but I'm not sure if I'm going to sell now and I just want to test the market. You're not getting that money back. You're not getting that money back.
It's gone.
It's gone. And I just want to point out, though, we're not here to save money on marketing. We're here to give sellers an option if they want to dip their toes in, test the market. But the buyers out there, they love that opportunity that they can see and buy property first before it hits those property portals. Pay a premium, we take it off the market for you. And so often it's a win-win, 70% of the time, in fact. 70% of the time, it's huge. That's a wrap, Mark. We've talked for 16 minutes. You have. God, he talks a lot. Honestly, it's ridiculous. 16 minutes you've talked for. All right, guys, that is a wrap.
I reckon we I'm happy for everyone to have a vote on that, Lise, because I reckon if we looked at a word count in every single episode you and I do, and we put it on a ratio, I reckon you'd be talking 80% of the time.
That's just because I do this once a week. You do it 6 times a week. I've got much more to say than you do.
No, it's just you talk a lot.
So rude. Honestly, so rude. Guys, help me out.
I do like it, though.
Admol, help me.
It's good. but I think, and I don't mean to be sexist or anything, but I think the word count a lady has to get out is higher a day, is higher than what a man has to get out a day. Yeah. Just look at a teenager, for example. The girl's like, rah, 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 and the boys are like, ugh.
Teenagers don't talk. All right, guys, that's it for us. 17 minutes. I just want to say, she's going to kill me. Jade, have a great day at school.
Jade, have a good day at school, Baba. She's sitting next to me. Do you want to stay up?
No.
I'll show you.
Don't you do that, Mark.
Yeah. See ya.
See you guys.